And I thank you for joining a World Gone Mad podcast. I'm your host, Jeff Allen Wolf, Season 1, Episode number 26. And if you listen to my last episode, I said that democracy has a knife to its throat and that we are in a very dangerous time at the moment. Wow, that was an understatement, especially what happened with the attempted assassination of Donald Trump. Now, I will cover this after the break coming up in depth, but right now I want to go over a couple of quick things that are important to talk about. A friend of mine asked me, hey, do you feel like your next episode will be walking a tightrope? And I said, no, I'm going to be myself, tell it as it is, even if I piss some members off from my Facebook group or some listeners here in the podcast. So let me start off by talking about Biden's press conference that happened not too long ago, and we had the debate fiasco. President Biden's press conference was at times uncomfortable to listen to. Now, I know a couple of people that I've come across have said, get over it. We're done here. There's nothing to see, or Joe Biden's the nominee, move on. That's it, drop the mic. No, I'm going to pick up the mic, and I'm in front of the mic right now, literally, and his press conference was okay, but it wasn't sharp, it wasn't great. And I'm sorry if everyone will get angry at me for saying this, thinking I'm being disloyal or helping the Republicans. Stop these comments. You're missing the point. If Biden stays, I will vote for him. But we seriously have to pay attention because between now and the election, if there are any more problems with Biden's mental acuity, it will be way too late then, and we will definitely lose. That's why this week is critical in determining where we go. Now, we reinvigorate the campaign, and we have a chance of winning. Or we stay where we are, and we will definitely lose. And that's an opinion. If anything bad happens between now and the convention, we have a serious problem. And then it will be too late to change course. Now, I'm done giving my opinion on this. I'm moving on. These are my opinions, whether you like it or not. It's one person who has the right to voice their viewpoint. And if you disagree, you know how to reach me. And the latest on Rudy Giuliani, because he's never out of the news, unfortunately. Rudy Giuliani's bankruptcy case was dismissed, so now they can seize his assets. Giuliani had done a bankruptcy trial, claimed he didn't have a lot of assets. The judges found that that was ridiculous, and they threw his bankruptcy decision out a few days ago. Good. Pay the people what you owe them. Do the time and punishment for what you created yourself. It's called the rule of law, Rudy. And every now and then, it does show its head in America that there is a justice system. And Ukraine in the news has been given the go-ahead to strike inside of Russian territory. The United States and the other allies gave the permission to Ukraine to go ahead and go deeper into Russian territory. And it seems to be working. Finally. Of course, some of us listening and around the country would love to just see air support and attacks directly back at Russia for this ridiculous, blatant invasion of Ukraine. But of course we can't do that. It would escalate the war. But thank you. Let Ukraine take the offensive and be able to strike in Russian territory and untie Ukraine's hands. Too little, too late? Maybe, maybe not. But at least a decision was made to move forward and help Ukraine. And the big news that just happened that we're all watching and reacting to with a furrowed brow and angry glare, Judge Aileen Cannon dismisses the document case, saying Jack Smith was illegally appointed a special counsel. So some key points, okay? I'm going to read you the takeaways from this, from the 93-page document that she wrote. Special Counsel Jack Smith's appointment was unconstitutional under the Appropriations Clause, which governs how the federal government is funded. 2. The way in which Smith was funded is also unlawful, according to Cannon. She ruled that Smith's funding was appropriated without statutory authorization. 3. Cannon leaned on Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas's concurrence in Trump's immunity ruling. In a footnote, Thomas reported the fringe legal theory that special counsels may be unconstitutional. Now, Cannon's ruling is an outlier that embraced a long-shot legal theory. Many other judges have rejected the argument that special counsels are unconstitutional in their own rulings. Cannon also said that Smith has little oversight by the Department of Justice. However, Smith's team has previously appeared to acknowledge some degree of actual oversight by DOJ leadership. Cannon left some major legal questions unanswered, including whether Smith had a significant amount of power without the oversight of Congress. So a couple of things to be aware of. She is the first judge to do this. Every single precedent for about 20 to 25 years has allowed a special counsel to be formed in this way. This will be appealed. She will, in my opinion, be removed by the 11th Circuit Court if they go that route. But it may go to the Supreme Court, and Chief Justice Thomas, how he feels about everything. So there is little hope to see this going through. This is a joke, and our justice system right now has an amateur judge who's like a child trying to officiate on a professional baseball game and getting everything wrong. Another route that this can go is Jack Smith goes directly to the U.S. court and refiles the case. That goes very quickly, and it bypasses the 11th Court and bypasses the Supreme Court in its timetable. So we'll see what happens, but this ruling, this is stunning. We want Cannon to be dismissed because of all the adverse, rulings in the documents case. Remember, the 11th Circuit Court already overturned her on one of her rulings earlier, gave a strong rebuke, and that's rare that happens. And then a second time it happened against Judge Cannon by the 11th Circuit Court. So there are many options here for Jack Smith, or for Merrick Garland for that matter. Outright, he could just dismiss Jack Smith and said, fine, we'll just do the case directly without the special counsel. No problem. We'll refile the case differently. Many options, but again, the bottom line is this will be delayed. The trial won't happen before the election. And of course, if Trump gets reelected, well, he dismisses any case against him with his new Department of Justice. We are in a tangle of crap, folks. Look, all any of us want, and I can't speak for everyone, but we just want rule of law. Justice prevailed. Nothing sticks to Donald. And remember, Ronald Reagan, for those of you old enough, was known as the Teflon president. Donald makes Reagan look like a child. Nothing sticks to Donald. There's no accountability, and that's all we're asking for. Right and wrong, justice prevails in our country. Look, before I take my break, I just want to thank the people who wrote in or texted with some comments about the podcast. And let me briefly read a couple and give a shout out. This one is from Karen in Lake Louisville. I believe that's Texas. She writes, Jeff, I'm a 75-year-old woman and a retired teacher who listened for the first time a while back. I'm quite impressed with your honesty and soothing manner of your voice and conveying information regarding the debate. The email is longer, but I want to thank you very much, Karen, for voicing your opinion. This is from Margaret in Colorado. Margaret writes, keep up the good work. I just discovered your podcast. Thanks for all the tidbits of news and your opinions and sharing. And finally, this one is from Marcus in, I can't read my own handwriting, people, Connecticut. Sorry about that. Marcus from Connecticut. I don't always agree with you and what you say, Jeff, but it's refreshing to hear someone to try to keep an open mind about things and give a fair-minded viewpoint from their eyes. I want to thank everyone who took the time to write in. I really do appreciate the comments. It's very heartwarming when people respond, and I thank you sincerely. This podcast, the Facebook group, could not exist without you, the listeners. So I want you to be aware of that. And I am going to be right back. This is a world gone mad. This is a world gone mad. I want to take a brief moment, give you several ways you can reach me if you'd like to leave a comment. I always look forward to your comments, and at your discretion, if you'd like to point out something I got wrong or add to the conversation your opinion, it would be very much appreciated. You can reach me with an email, aworldgonemadpodcast@gmail.com, or you can leave a voice message 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, free, toll-free, anywhere in the United States and Canada, 833-399-9653. That's 833-399-9653. And don't forget to join our Facebook group. Join our great group of people from the Wolfpack listening audience. It is A World Gone Mad Podcast on Facebook. Come on. Don't be shy. Jump right in. And you can leave a text message directly on some of the apps you're on now. In the middle of the podcast, you could directly leave a text message. So, looking forward to your comments. Don't forget to rate and rank the show on Apple or Spotify. Leave a comment. Thank you so much for your support. I truly do appreciate it and you taking the time. And now back to the show.
This is a world gone mad. This is a world gone mad.
Welcome back to A World Gone Mad podcast. I'm your host, Jeff Allen Wolf. So here we are at a very dangerous moment in America's history. So let's talk about the assassination attempt on Donald Trump. Look, it's been all over the news, all over the internet. I'm not going to rehash everything in the last 48 hours under the sun that you could read online or see on your local news network or Google it. What I will say is the following. It is open season in America on everyone, Democrats, Republicans, judges, political nominees, presidents, etc. What the hell happened, people? How do we get here? And yes, it did not happen overnight. I understand that. But we're here, and it's just going to get worse from this point, unfortunately. We have 3 months before the election. This is just the tip of the iceberg, that's what I believe, of what's to come. So let me point out a couple of key observations from my viewpoint, okay? Number one, regardless of your political affiliations, shooting anyone is wrong. No matter how much you hate someone or hate their ideologies, that's just plain wrong. Let's clear that up right now. Number two, all of the people online that are yelling that this was staged, it's a con, you have to stop. We don't know details fully yet. We may not know for a couple of days, a week, several weeks. So let's calm that point down about things being staged. Let's hear the full story. Number three, to blame it on the Biden administration is just plain asinine. If the Biden administration ordered this attempt on Donald, it would have succeeded. Think about this. CIA, FBI, Israeli forces, etc. So let's stop this ridiculous comment. Number four, this attempt on Donald was because of the hatred coming from the president and the Democratic Party, and we need to go back after them. That comment is complete garbage. This action came because of the rhetoric and hatred from Donald himself that caused this assassination attempt on him in our country. And again, I don't condone this action, but stop saying President Biden and the Democrats were the ones that created this. Even though Donald is calling for everyone to calm down and we need to all come together and Hakuna Matata, the Republican Party is already milking this for everything they can. Of course, nothing's changed, so we need to be vigilant in this regard. Look, it's definitely a world gone mad, people. Everyone, we understand that. First, the Trump indictments, then the debate that went bad for Biden, then the assassination attempt on Donald Trump, and of course, COVID before all of that, and of course, everything in between. So a lot of things have happened. The last 7 to 8 years, we have been put through the ringer in this country. And quite frankly, we are exhausted. We are drained, emotionally, mentally, intellectually, maybe even physically. We used to have normalcy, or whatever normalcy was then in this country, And now it's just the chaos theory of Jeff Goldblum from Jurassic Park. I recently asked my Facebook group for this podcast, give me a one-word reaction, one-word answer to the assassination attempt on Donald. What was your one-word reaction? So leave me a voice message, text me, email me. I would love to hear your answer. I look forward to your replies. Mike Johnson, Speaker of the House, is calling for a thorough investigation. Let's see if they do this correctly or make this into a circus. The White House is calling for a full investigation. Look, the rhetoric and online anger has exploded. Think about this. In the last few years, Gretchen Whitmer, the potential kidnapping of her in 2020, Nancy Pelosi's husband, Paul, was attacked in their own home in 2022. The anger and the tension has increased. The Republican convention is on now, and Donald Trump just received enough votes to become the nominee. No surprise. And Donald just named J.D. Vance as his vice president. And the circus continues. A quick sneak announcement of things to come. I'm going to be doing a new video podcast. It's called From the Wolf's Den. And it should be coming up within the next month or so, maybe less. So be on the lookout for that. I will let you know. And things are expanding and growing with A World Gone Mad. I will be back next week with another episode of A World Gone Mad. I'm your host, Jeff Allen Wolf. We all need to take a breath. We all need to refocus. Most of all, we need to stay hopeful.